There you go, the Lars. There she goes, BBC Radio 2. Vernon in for Zoe. And of course, this is BBC Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, your smart speaker, and 88 to 91 in the FM.
BBC News at 7 o'clock on Monday, the 27th of June. Good morning, this is Claire Runacres. A man has suffered life-threatening injuries after a huge gas explosion tore through a street in Birmingham. Ukraine's President Zelensky will appeal directly to G7 world leaders for more weapons to fight Russia's invasion. And the rapper Kendrick Lamar closes Glastonbury with a protest against American abortion laws. A man is in a life-threatening condition in hospital after a large gas explosion in Birmingham ripped through a street, destroying a house and damaging a number of others. Neighbours clambered past flaming debris and threw dust and rubble to pull an injured man from the ruins of the home in the King's Standing area. Search and rescue dogs have been hunting through the wreckage to check everyone is accounted for. The Conservative councillor for the ward, Rick Payne, visited the site soon after the blast.
I was sat at home, I heard a loud explosion, that was just after 8:30. I decided I should come down to see what I could do to help people. I can confirm that house was completely destroyed and the adjoining houses were partially destroyed, and then subsequent houses along the street had collateral damage.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky will urge Boris Johnson and other leaders from the world's richest democracies to do more to help his country resist Russia's invasion. In a video address to the G7 summit in Germany, it's expected he'll ask again for more heavy weapons. From the summit, here's our diplomatic correspondent, James Landale.
President Zelensky will talk directly to the leaders and is expected to call again for heavy artillery and air defences. Last night he said Ukraine's partners should move faster, otherwise they were just observers. The G7 leaders are expected to offer more support and further sanctions on Russia. But even Boris Johnson, one of Mr. Zelensky's most vocal supporters, admits defending Ukraine's sovereignty has tough consequences for the rest of the world, particularly the rising costs of food and energy.
A BBC investigation has found evidence of occupying Russian forces stealing thousands of tons of Ukrainian grain. Moscow denies the theft. Nick Beak reports from Kiev.
One landowner, who we're calling Dmitro, said Russian soldiers had arrived at his farm to clear out his grain supplies. We obtained CCTV images showing troops at the farm. We also traced the route of two of Dmitro's lorries to Crimea and then on to mainland Russia. Documents we've seen show that in some areas, the Russian-installed authorities have told farmers they're seizing their grain to ensure what they call the food security of the area.
Some criminal cases at Crown Courts in London, Manchester, Birmingham and Leeds are expected to be disrupted today because of a strike by barristers about legal aid funding. They say their pay has fallen by 26% in real terms compared with 2006. The government says they've been offered a 15% pay rise and has warned the dispute will delay justice for victims. Graham Skidmore, the voice of the long-running ITV dating show Blind Date, has died at the age of 90. He'd been living with vascular dementia for a decade. Known affectionately as R. Graham by the programme's host Cilla Black, Graham Skidmore entertained audiences with his tongue-in-cheek descriptions of the contestants.
Louise, will you choose flighty number 1? He says he wants to take you to paradise, but that could be just a tall story. Or maybe you prefer number 2. He's got the potential and he's quite credible. Pity about the ferrets, though. And don't forget number 3, the good scout with the smiling eyes. He's one doctor you'd never say no to. But the decision is yours.
The American rapper Kendrick Lamar has closed the Glastonbury Festival with a protest against the US Supreme Court ruling ending the right for women to have an abortion throughout the states. At the end of his set, he repeatedly chanted "Godspeed for women's rights" before dropping his microphone and leaving the stage. The BBC's Stephen Powell was watching at the festival.
I like where the energy is at right now, Glastonbury.
Last night's final act on the Pyramid stage was the man nicknamed the King of Hip Hop, Kendrick Lamar. He brought proceedings to an end with powerful performances using dozens of dancers and a stunning light show. He also spoke out about the changing laws on abortion rights in the US.
They judge you, they judge Christ. Godspeed for women's rights. They judge you, they judge Christ. Godspeed for women's rights.
Elsewhere, the Pet Shop Boys gave the closing performance on the site's second biggest stage. And no doubt, some of the 200,000 people here are already starting to think about getting their tickets for next year.
And the weather, there'll be scattered showers this morning, which will become increasingly confined to the north in the afternoon, with sunshine developing in the south. Highs of 20 Celsius in London and 17 in Cardiff, Belfast and Edinburgh. BBC News, it's 7:05.
On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM. The Radio 2 Breakfast Show with Vernon Kay.